I'm Jean-Pierre from NLA Business School, and it's a great honor to be here at Semicolon. We have heard a lot about technology, that we need to be good and strong in technology. I'm going to disrupt that a little bit, because Semicolon is a place where we disrupt things. I want to start with the question, is it fun anymore? Is it fun with all this technology, all these robots? We were summoned by some of the keynote speakers today to be stronger with technology. And I want to challenge that. Not that we don't have to be stronger with technology, but why? Why do we have to do that? And what does it mean to be human in a world more and more technologic? And what a partnership between a business school and Semicolon means. That's you. Should you succeed in understanding what does it mean to combine technology and humanity, that's what you will provide to the world. We don't need technology alone. We don't need thousands of Python lines. I'm a very good Python coder, by the way. Should you need me, I'm not too expensive. No, sorry. What we do need is meanings, and that's exactly what they did. So should you are able to embed that in the type of things you are going to develop, you will have a great impact on Nigeria and the world. Who is this guy? There is a big prize behind that. Who is this guy? Sorry? No, no. Okay. No. The guy's name is Copernic. Before him, we used to be very happy as human beings. Because we thought that Earth was the center of the universe. But the guy is good with mathematics, and then he demonstrated, with only a limited amount of data, that it's not true. Not at all. We are just a planet like another. That was, for the humanity, for human beings, the first thing that hurt us very much. Who is this guy? Allez, come on. Yeah, Darwin, yeah. Before Darwin, we had overcome the Copernic thing. We were happy again. We thought that the human beings were unique. But Charles Darwin demonstrated that it's not so true, that we are evolving like other species, that maybe we are another species like the other species. And I don't want to comment on that. But then it was very difficult. It hurts us very much. But hopefully we overcame that just before this guy arrived. Who is he? His name is Sigmund Freud. We had just overcome the Charles Darwin and Copernic things when suddenly we discovered that us our consciousness is not the center of our actions and decisions. That's a complete catastrophe. Most of our actions, we don't understand them. We are not driven by ourselves. That's the third thing that hurts humanity very much and makes it very difficult to understand what does it mean, humanity. But then it was over. Now we have overcome that, and that's okay. Is it true? No. What is it that? The digital disruption. But since the beginning of today, and maybe since the beginning of your courses, of everything you have learned, you have thought about the digital disruption about something technical. But in fact, it's more than that. For the first time in the history of humanity, we are challenged on our fundamentals. It has happened before. The machine in the beginning of the 19th century. You remember the Industrial Revolution? Before, we were the only one able to carry and to build, and then the machine, they came, and they were able to carry and to build and to transport. But it doesn't matter, because we were always the only one to dream and to create and to think. But these machines, they have started to think. They have started to build and to dream, maybe. So it means that we are no more the center of one of the most important things, creativity. Should we give up, we are done. And that's why it is so important that a business school and Semicolon partners, that it is so important that beyond technology, beyond the amazing and fantastic technical skills that you can develop, you think about what does it mean to be human. Let me tell you a story. Europe was completely destroyed. The UK was close to be destroyed. It was 1945, just the day after the war, the end of the war. 3 guys, fantastic guys, they were walking there, precisely there. Can you see them? No. And they decided to create Henley Business School, the oldest business school in the UK. It's not a school about theoretical knowledge. Harvard was already there, and they are so strong with theoretical knowledge. Have you given a thought about the guy with a degree from Harvard that led the world to the financial crisis? No, I know, I can't say that. Do not record that, please. So this guy, they were focused on people development. They thought that should we equip the civil servant, the former militarist guy, should we equip them with skills that make them more conscious of themselves? Maybe we can rebuild Europe and we can rebuild the United Kingdom. That was the early stage of Henley Business School, a place focused on people development. A significant amount of years later, Henley Business School is still a place focusing on people development, but it's now a global business school, worldly renowned and ranked. With quite a significant alumni community in Nigeria. We have a couple of hundreds of very, very strong alumni in Nigeria, but also a good presence in Africa, because all over, we have thousands of alumni in Africa. And also, our focus is still the same. How can we equip people all over the world with skills that will make them stronger as human beings, to use the humanity we have inside us, of course, to develop new things, to innovate, of course, to understand technology, but to go beyond, with meanings, with value and ethos, to be more human. And that's why we try to understand what does it mean, the world of work, and how can we thrive in the world of work of the future that is, in fact, the world of work of today. So, of course, we need to think about this major disruption as opportunities. Here, you remember the former skills that you needed. It was part of the presentation from Stanbic a couple of hours ago, maybe 10 hours ago, because it's a very long event. And you're very brave to listen to me, I have to say. Sorry. Yeah, but the food was good, no? I think, yeah. And now we need new invisible strategies. And when I say invisible, the picture disappeared. Have you noticed that? I have a strange power. This guy has to be very important to you because he changed the world, Steve Jobs. The reason why he did so is that he reversed completely the value proposition. The world was product-driven before Steve Jobs. And the lesson we have to learn from him is that if we want to benefit from the technology whilst having impact on the human being, we need to be customer-centric. We need to think about anything we develop from the customer, the user point of view. And that's amazing because design, focus, the customer journey, the customer experience is still driven Apple and others. And the more you are going to be equipped with fantastic technical skills and design thinking skills, the more you need to think not about your product, because your product is going to be fantastic, but you can stay alone in your garage with your product. Nobody will perceive that. If the product is able to confer a fantastic customer experience, then you will find people that will knock at the door of your garage and will come and engage with your product. So I think we are getting there. Should we pay attention to our humanity whilst developing our technical skills? If we combine technical skills and humanities, then we can thrive. And the power of humanity is limitless. Let's take example on this young person. Who is she? What is she doing precisely? You know what? She's changing the world. It's Place Tahrir in one of the, you remember in the Arab world, the revolution. These guys, they changed the world. And how is she doing that? She's posting on the social media. She's using a fantastic invention, internet. She's innovating by practice, and she's having an impact on the whole society. And she's not alone, because this night, hundreds of people like that were doing that, using social media to conduct a smooth revolution. And that's fantastic. Who is this guy? Those who were there yesterday, they know him already. It's Gutenberg. We all know that Gutenberg invented the printing press, and the printing press changed the world. But that's not true, because as I said yesterday, the printing press, fantastic machine with embossing possibilities, when he invented it, nothing happened. The life of people were not changed. It was just a machine in a garage. But another guy came, Martin Luther, and he decided to print books and to give the books to people. So the guy who invented the printing press never thought about giving the books to people. He just invented a machine to print. But another guy had the fantastic idea that if we print book with knowledge on it, if we give this book with knowledge to all the people that were not able to have the knowledge, then they will develop themselves. And this guy just changed Europe, because Europe after Martin Luther is not the same than Europe before. People get access to education, they start to think by themselves. They were less impressed by leadership guys, and they developed their own leadership. So this guy changed the world. Why this young woman changed the world? She didn't invent internet, she used it. This guy, he didn't invent the printing press, he used it. Because they thought about the customer experience. They were 100% human whilst using the technology. And the challenge is great for Nigeria, because for the moment, if you see this number, 78.53%, the export, it's in 2016, but the export is mainly oil. This morning, Barry and I, we met a very good friend, a Nigerian friend, Steve Babaiko, a great guy. He founded Xtreme, a fantastic communication agency. And he's a very successful entrepreneur. And what is he doing with his money? He's not buying cars. He's not buying house. He's buying land. And he has started to grow palm oil for Nigeria. If you compare Thailand and Nigeria, why is it so diverse there? We don't care. We can do the same here. If we have the technique, if we think as human beings, if we develop leadership, maybe we will stop importing $500 billion of palm oil, and we will produce the palm oil we need to cook the soup and other things. We will produce what we need, and that's exactly how we need to think. But there is a big but with all that. Music, sound, please. You don't have the sound? Could you is it possible to, yeah, that's okay. A little bit more sound? Okay, cool.
That's not good.
This. Nobody's late.
Somebody will come. Anybody in there?
Telephone.
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are two people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? Help! I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna cry.
Well, that's it.
Hello? Hey, don't worry about it. I'll fix it in a second.
He said he could fix it. All right. All right. That's more like it. He said he could fix it.
We are in great danger. Because in fact, it's us. We have embarked in a journey we don't control. Let's think about 30,000 years ago. We were happy. For million years, we were happy. We can feed, hunt, and rest, and talk to the family a lot. But something happened. Something happened. Wheat, rice, and potatoes, they took control of us. These three vegetables or whatever, seed, they were nothing. They were just part of the alimentation. We didn't pay attention to them. But step by step, we became farmers. And we take care of them. But in fact, they took control of us. They mastered us. We became to be like that, to suffer from the back, to take care of them, to not take holidays because we were stressed by our things, and so on and so forth. These marginal species, they were small ranges, and now they dominate the world. What does it mean? If we don't pay attention, if we follow the stream, technology, artificial intelligence, the robot, if we don't think about what does it mean to be human, what are our ethos, our fundamental value, we lose control. And we follow the stream. That's exactly what happened to human beings. So, what I want to share with you, and that's very much the semicolon Henley Business School project, is to be back as human beings. Today, it's a fantastic opportunity to think about what makes us unique, our ability to decide, our ability to take decisions, our ability to create, to design. And that must be our drivers. We need to take care of that. And that's why Henley Business School and Semicolon, they have decided to partner. Henley alone, it's nothing. We don't master the technology. We don't understand deeply the innovation. But Semicolon alone, it's nothing, because technology is a stream, and we don't want to embark and be dominated by the robots, the artificial intelligence, and be welcomed by non-human beings, and be in plane, Boeing, that are not able to be piloted by pilots. What we want to do is to be human beings. We want to decide, to create, and to design. And that's why this partnership is so meaningful, because we are taking the best of ourselves, our ability at Henley Business School to develop people as strong human beings, and the ability of Semicolon to equip you with fantastic technology skills. What Sam presented is essential for us. Should we are able to detect innovation, there are fantastic reservoirs of innovation in Nigeria. If we take care of these talents and we equip them with the skills, both technical and human, if we are able to bring more liquidity in the country so that people will take the risk to invest in your endeavor, with our help, our label, and our ability to coach you, then we will have a fantastic impact on Nigeria. And that's exactly our project. And if I want to keep it, this very long story that I have shared with you, starting 25,000 years ago, the value proposition of the partnership between Semicolon and LA is simple. It's you. Together, let's champion humanity. Let's champion humanity to have a great impact on Nigeria. Thank you.